me that. And the engineer of the Dolphins offense is standing by with our Andrea Kremer in Miami.
Thank you very much, especially when the Dolphins coming off of a game against San Francisco last week where they only scored 3 points. So to have a game like tonight where you can put 20 on the board, even if you're not responsible for all 20, is a good thing, Dan Marino. Let's start off talking about the flea flicker, the 62-yarder, the longest play that you've had, the longest touchdown pass in nearly 2 years. How did that play develop?
Well, we were running that same play to just a straight running play to the left side, and their safeties, Ronnie Lott's very aggressive, and Anderson are very aggressive, and we had ran it about 6 or 7 times, and felt like this was a chance to take a shot at a big play, and it worked out. Duper caught the ball and scored a touchdown.
How important is it to produce, as I said, after only 3 points last week against San Francisco, and after you've lost 5 of your last 7 games?
Well, last week we just didn't play well. The weather conditions and some turnovers hurt us. We played a very good defensive football team tonight and moved the ball really well. Just didn't score twice. We were down inside the 10-yard line, but we're working on it. We won the game. It was a team effort, and that's the important thing.
First half, a lot of yardage, but only the 3 points. Were you starting to get concerned that the offense was not clicking?
Well, you can't be concerned. You have to be positive and keep playing and keep going after it, keep throwing the ball, running it, be patient, stay with your offense. If you do that, you know, we have good people. We'll make plays eventually and make big plays and score touchdowns.
Now, you hit the 2 plays to James Saxon down at the other end zone, and all of a sudden, you try to get the ball into Keith Jackson. It gets intercepted. Did you not see him, or were you just trying to force it into Keith?
I was throwing to the right guy. I just made a bad throw. I hurried myself a little bit. And in that situation, instead of trying to force it into Keith, I should have just threw it away and tried to make it on the next play. But I tried to make a great throw. It didn't work, and they scored a touchdown.
Now, you know you're going to get some heat for this because it looked like you were the last line of defense, so to speak, to tackle Eddie Anderson before the end zone. Looks like you sort of decided to get out of his way. What were you doing there?
Well, I was trying to, do what I can to try to make the tackle. I thought I made a good effort anyway, but, when you got 3 guys running on you and I was in a bad position, there's no reason for me to take that hit. He was going to score anyway.
Your defense did a good job on Jay Schrader, but also their defense was fairly aggressive on you. Nolan Harrison, was that a cheap shot when he sort of drilled you into the ground?
No, I think the officials do a great job with, protecting the quarterback and watching to see if there's late hits. And I don't think it was a late hit. I had thrown the ball and he already had, a hold of me, so I think it was a legal hit.
You feel that the Dolphins are back on course for the remainder of the season. A very good shot still at even winning the AFC East title.
Well, I think we have a good team, and we just have to continue to work. This is going to be big for our confidence. It's going to help our confidence a lot. Now,
we know that the #1 touchdown combination is Marino to Clayton, but Marino to Duper is going in there pretty close. All right, thanks very much, Danny. We appreciate it. Hi, Mark. You got the fans here going for you. The flea flicker that Danny got with you, you pretty wide open on that. That was a play that you guys had worked on, or?
Yeah, well, it was the play I was supposed to do. I was supposed to go at the safety, and Ryan Lott's supposed to come up, but he just played back. And when I seen him play back and the corner hit, I just took it to the outside and hoped Dan was going to read that, which he read it good, and he threw the ball over my head and over Ryan Lott's head, and which was a great pass, and we just took it on to the end zone.
Do you feel that, particularly in the second half, that the offense finally started to click, and why? What adjustments were made after only the field goal in the first half?
I think we still got a lot of work on our offense. I mean, we ran the flea flicker, we got the touchdown, but we went down there several times, and Marino threw the interception. But those things in a real tight game could hurt us. So which means that we still have a lot of work on our offense. I mean, it's not tuned up the way it's supposed to be, but we will work on it as a team.
Looked like the Dolphins were rivaling the bickering Bills this week. There's a lot of stuff going on off the field, and a locker room meeting. What's the feeling of the team? I mean, it's good to have the win after having lost 5 of the last 7. What's the feeling of the team heading into the rest of the season?
Well, it feels good because we know that if we win and the Bills lose 1 game, and if we win all our games, which means we have a great opportunity to win, and right now we're in the driver's seat, which means we can get the home field advantage. For us the playoffs. I was kind of skeptical about the playoffs, because we could have lost a lot of other games and did not make the playoffs. But right now, I think we feel good about it. All we have to do is win the next 2 games, and we get home field advantage if the Bills lose, and take it from there.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Mark Duper.
Okay.
Appreciate it. And we keep the assembly line going, and let's talk about the defense right now. We got Bryan Cox. Thank you very much, Bryan. Appreciate your time. You are just putting tremendous pressure on opposing quarterbacks. You had 1 sack tonight for a team-high 12. How are you managing to have the kind of season that you're having?
Thanks be given to God. I mean, give him the glory because, from last year, if you look at my numbers and my play, I was consistent, but I didn't make the big plays. And this year, every chance I've gotten, I've capitalized on it. So, thanks be given to God.
The J.B. Brown interception, was it just a matter of him being in the right place? I mean, looked like Willie was running a square out, and then he just, J.B. just made a great play.
Well, our corners are the reason why we've been so successful this year on defense. They've been locking up man-to-man on those outside receivers and thus allowing us to have a lot of people in the middle of the field to combat the run. So, he wasn't in the right place at the right time. He was doing his job the way he's been doing all year.
A premium on stopping Eric Dickerson today. Was that the goal going in?
Well, going into the game, we wanted to shut the run down because we felt like they couldn't beat us throwing the ball. And, last time they played here, Mr. Schrader made a comment about not getting his uniform dirty, so we wanted to ensure that his uniform got dirty this go around.
You started out in your base defense 3-4. Were you getting the most pressure out of that with the various sacks that you had throughout the game?
Well, we got most of our sacks out of our dime package of 47, but we went to the four linebackers, 4 defensive linemen, and that helped us out tremendously. That we were able to take the cutback lanes away from Dickerson, and when they went third down, they had to keep the tight end in the back end, so that allowed us to keep more people back in coverage, but get a little pressure on the quarterback. So I think that overall scheme helped us out today.
The Dolphins have the youngest defensive starters in the AFC. This team has a lot of room for improvement, but do you feel confident just knowing that there's so much talent and starting to blossom under Tom Olivedotti's scheme?
The great thing about it is we got 11 guys out there hungry to get to the football, and as long as we run to the football like that, there's no scheme, there's no anything. You have to just have hungry players out there, and I think this year everybody's showing that they're hungry on the defensive side of the ball.
Thank you very much for your time. Congratulations, Bryan Cox. Thank you. And, of course, the playoff scenario for the Dolphins, if they win their final 2 games and Buffalo loses a game, the Dolphins wrap up the AFC East. But there's still a scenario in which the Dolphins could get the home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the AFC. As we know, guys, the entire AFC, it's almost been like guys are backing into it. Which team is eventually going to come out on top? Dolphins 9-5 right now. Let's head back to the studio.
Yeah, and of course, thank you, Andrea. Of course, the Raiders are virtually in the tub right now. In the tub, putting it politely. For the record, the Dolphins are home with the Jets on ESPN Sunday nights, and they will close out at New England Week 17. That also being a Sunday, an afternoon game. And the scenario is, if they win either game, they are in the playoffs, and that's their first job, obviously. And right now, it sounds like a no-lose situation for the Dolphins.